Alright, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little top 5 for the new April 6th update. We're going to do the top 5 commons and uncommons in both Oath and Shadows. We're going to do the top 5 rares and mythics in Oath and Shadows, and we're going to do the top 5 snubs right now. And coming in at number 5 on the snubs is Village Messenger. It would have been another 1-drop, 1/1 that becomes a 2/2, just like Goblin Glory Chaser. This one even has haste. No spells are cast, it flips, becomes a 2/2 menace, presumably with Infectious Bloodlust on it, coming to crush us once again with a red aggro. Not to be, not implemented in the game. So red not improving by another 3 1-drops here. Number 4, a little bit of a pet peeve of mine was that they keep adding tribal stuff, but not giving us haymakers. They gave elves a couple good activators in the original Origins, but they've now taken one out, and they never made allies good enough ever. This thing, even though it's a rare as a 2 of, would have been pretty big game. Because what ends up happening in allies is you aggro in, you synergy in, and then you hit brick walls or you get languished. This thing makes your guys bigger. They did not put this in the game, so sorry allies, you are still a terrible deck. Number 3, Pick the Brain. I was really annoyed in Battle for Zendikar when they did not add Transgress the Mind, which was a 2-mana way to look at an opponent's hand and take a big threat, converted mana cost 3 or greater, out of their hand. This one has a little bit of a bonus where if you have Delirium, you can take all of that threat out of their deck, but really all I was looking for is some hand disruption, and they once again have not put a hand disruption spell for control into this game. So control still vulnerable, particularly to big ramp Eldrazi type strategies. Sorry, wanted Pick the Brain, even though 3 mana is a little crappy, would have taken it. Number 2, Reckless Bushwhacker. This is another thing that would have just made mono red aggro absurd. You could play a Dragon Fodder and then play this and give the Dragon Fodder tokens +1/+0 and haste on the same turn for 4 mana. This would have just been an absurd way to make the Infectious Bloodlust mono red strategy even stronger, but this could have also gone in other aggressive strategies like blue-red prowess, and I would have liked to see it in the game for me, but would have completely hated going against it since I almost never play mono red aggro. Reckless Bushwhacker, the number 2 snub, and the number 1 snub. Anybody that plays this game should know that we need a way to deal cheaply with planeswalkers and board wipes and opposing counterspells. Negate was the obvious choice. Once again, it was printed in paper, and once again, it was not included in Magic Duels. I don't know why. This seemed like a really easy inclusion. All the counterspells in this game are quite bad, and they still are bad. But, gotta do what you gotta do. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some Battle or Oath of the Gatewatch. Oath of the Gatewatch uncommons. Pulse of Marasa. This is a card that seems like it wouldn't be good because it's like a strict sideboard type card, but trust me, instant speed, 3 mana, return a creature or land from graveyard and gain 6 life for a mid-range or controlling green deck going against one of those fast, aggressive strategies people like to use in order to farm coins and get their rank 40 as fast as possible. This thing is like a brick wall. You get a creature back that they have to once again burn, and yeah, I mean, 6 life is big game against a mono red strategy, and I do believe that you will see a lot of Pulse of Marasa coming into green decks to deal with the common red threats. Number 4 on the Commons and Uncommons from Oath of the Gatewatch. It's a combo of cards, 1 mana cantrips, Expedite and Slip Through Space. One makes them unblockable, one gives a creature haste. They both draw a card for 1 mana, enabling Surge. This is an insane set of cards in a Prowess deck, and I'm definitely going to play Red-Blue Prowess, which is about as aggro as I'll ever play. And what can I say? These cards are going to be seen a lot, probably in alternate versions of Infectious Bloodlust that utilize blue. And this is another reason why this deck is going to be seen. Haste 1/3 Flying Prowess. What can be said besides this thing is going to get giant and in the air? You Titan Strength this thing, it's a 5. I mean, people are going to get beat by this thing a lot. I will absolutely make this deck. And, you know, if you're not going to get Reckless Bushwhacker, you better just play Storm Chaser Mage, Expedite, and Slip Through Space. Number 2, Oath of the Gatewatch Commons and Uncommons. Clear choice here. Black, kill something reasonably sized, not even only small things. -4/-4, instant speed. This will take care of a lot of early threats. It'll blow up some Infectious Bloodlust casts, put that in the graveyard, blow up the whole strategy. Grasp of Darkness, even if it's heavy black, very important card. You need efficient removal, and this will hit just about anything you need to, besides your Ulamogs and your Gaia's Revenge and all the usual ramp culprits. And the absolute number 1 best addition out of Oath of the Gatewatch in Commons and Uncommons, Reflector Mage. Grossest bouncer ever. Bounce it from the battlefield. They can't even cast it next turn. If they got 2 cards of the same name in hand and you just bounced one of them, they don't get to cast either. If you're ahead on board, this game is just hugely punishing card. Reflector Mage, easily my favorite card, even above all the mythics, all the rares, even the ones in Shadows over Innistrad. Reflector Mage, powerhouse, huge game. Moving on to the mythics and rares. Linvala the Preserver, what can you say? This thing does it all. If you're behind, you gain 5 life, you get 8/8 power in the air, flying, crushing people. Linvala is insane. Reason why she's number 5, mythic. You can only have 1 mythic in these games, so when you really need to draw Linvala, you better just have her in your hand because you're not going to have 4. But huge board swing, life, power, blockers, attackers, you get it all. But somehow 4 things are better, and one of them is Eldrazi Displacer. Not on its surface more powerful, but imagine using this exile another target creature and return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control on, say, Reflector Mage maybe, Bounding Krasis, bounce more things, tap more things, Frostlinks. You change your Simic tempo or blue-white tempo into a Bant tempo. You got a lot of enter the battlefield effects that are going to absolutely crush opponents if they can't deal with Eldrazi Displacer. Worse yet, if you've read the new Avacyn, when she enters the battlefield, all your creatures get indestructible. If you just leave this 3 mana up to bounce Avacyn every turn, like that is almost a hard lock against everything except just an exile on Eldrazi Displacer, and you still would have to deal with Avacyn. This thing, you're going to get 2 copies of it. You can put it in any heavy enter the battlefield effect deck like Bant Tempo, and you are just in business. Bouncing Whirler Rogue, getting more tokens, protecting your guys. This is going to be a house. Number 3, Chandra Flamecaller. Even as a 1-of, everybody needs to play some Planeswalkers. If you're trying to go to 6 mana, this does all you want to do. If your board is clear and control, the +1's going to finish the game real quick with 6 power coming at him. The -X, you can do -4, kill Chandra, wipe a good amount of things off the board, all the little guys. You make it a turn 6 against mono red, you're going to sweep them off the board, and if somehow you can keep Chandra alive, you can just 0 away all your lands, all your madness spells, and draw that many cards +1. Chandra is a finisher from the depths of hell. Chandra is insane. Easily the best planeswalker in standard right now. Some would argue Gideon. Chandra is this might be the best version of Chandra ever printed. Great card. Can't wait to put it in some red based planeswalker control something. Gotta play with this card. Number 2, Kalidas, Trader of Get. Look, once again, Mythic Claws. You only get one of them, but if this thing lands and they don't kill it and you untap with your mana, hopefully you got some kill cards in your deck if you're playing Kalidas, because once you do, things get ugly. If you make Kalidas big enough to survive a Languish, you put 5 toughness on this thing, you sacrifice a vampire or a zombie, put 2 counters, you put 6 toughness on this thing and Languish, everything on your opponent's board just becomes a zombie for this guy. Like, it is disgusting where this guy goes if you untap mana with kill spells. This is not a fair card. You're only going to have one, but it will be easily one of the hardest things for aggro to deal with. They have to attack into a lifelinker, and if you kill their things, they have to deal with zombie blockers. This card is amazing. To be better than Linvala and Chandra, you better believe it's amazing. And how the heck do you get better than that? Number 1, Thought-Knot Seer. May seem worse. Same cost. Has a weird cost. Costs this colorless mana, this wingding mana symbol. Look, I talked about hand disruption. You gotta... You need hand disruption. Like, think about all the ramp decks that were just sitting there doing nothing. They play their Gatecreeper Vine. They play their Nissa's Pilgrimage. They play their Acid Moss. They play a whole bunch more ramp spells. They put a whole bunch of lands into play. And all you're thinking is, geez, I hope he doesn't already have Ulamog sitting in his hand. This one, turn 4, you get to look at their hand and take it right out of there. And believe me, 2 copies of Thought-Knot Seer is big game. Magic Duels, control players, mid-range players, even the top end of some aggro decks that can utilize this mana, this colorless mana symbol. If you can look at your opponent's hand and decide what's going to beat you and make it not beat you, that's big game. Thought-Knot Seer is absolutely going to make a gigantic impact on the way people play. No more dirtling around forever and just holding on to your big haymakers. Thought-Knot Seer is going to steal it from you and be a big 4/4. Going to Shadows over Innistrad, Commons and Uncommons, Essence Flux. This is actually not that spectacular of a card, but you got to look at it in certain contexts. 1, they actually didn't add that many great Commons and Uncommons in Shadows in general. But this one, 1 blue, exile target creature you control and return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. That by itself basically says if your opponent has a creature removal spell, this counters it for 1 mana. Think of it that way. This is a 1 mana counter spell against sorcery or instant speed creature removal. And people run creature removal. If they're going to Fiery Impulse you, Twin Bolt your guy, Grasp of Darkness your guy, Essence Flux has got the counter. And sometimes it gets an actual counter, because if you got a Spirit, you put a 1/1 counter on it when it comes back to the battlefield. That's for your Rattle Chains mainly. There's not actually that many good Spirits around, but Essence Flux will get it done. I promise this thing will be insane when you try and kill a Reflector Mage and they Essence Flux the Reflector Mage and they bounce another one of your things and save their Reflector Mage. You're going to be hurting. Your side is going to feel like it just got stabbed. Like, this thing will be the best card ever in a good amount of situations where it's cast. Number 4, Heir of Falconwrath. All we're talking about is an insanely aggressive card. This is on the same sort of curve as Storm Chaser Mage, which comes in as a 1/3 haste. This is a 2/1 without haste, but the very next turn, it can be a 3/2 flyer coming at you, and all you invested was 2 mana, and maybe you discarded a land, Maybe you discarded a Fiery Temper and killed something. This is going to be good in a vampire deck, a black-red based aggro deck of any kind, mono black if that's a thing, blue black if you can find an aggro shell. If you got an aggro shell, Heir of Falconwrath is going to be amazing. This is a card that you're going to lose to. Sometimes you're going to gum up the ground and you're just going to take 21 damage in the air from Heir of the Night, and you're going to feel pretty bad about it. Number 3, Fiery Temper, Madness card. Look, there's a sorcery speed 1 red that does 3 damage to a creature or player, and this sometimes costs 1 mana. I mean, this is instant speed. This is a good card. When you can cast it for 1, it's going to be one of the best cards in the entire game. When you cast it for 3, you're probably not going to feel too bad about it, honestly. You don't have to desperately find discard Madness outlets to make this a good card. I'd run this in any kind of red, any type of thing where I'm just trying to hold up instant speed kills and burn people to the face at the end. Fiery Temper, easy pick as one of the best commons or uncommons coming out of Shadows over Innistrad. But there are better. Number 2, Pious Evangel? Is this a thing? Is this really ahead of 3 mana to the face for 1 mana? It is. Reason why, there's a card called Zulaport Cutthroat that I really thought would be in the Battle for Zendikar update. It was not. And what that card did is the same thing that the flip side of this card does, Wayward Disciple. Whenever Wayward Disciple or another creature you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This makes your Nantuko Husks deadly zombies. This thing, you sacrifice another permanent, transform it into Wayward Disciple. You got a whole bunch of tokens on board. You got a bunch of scions. Sacrifice them all. Attack with everything, because all you need to do is have them die. And that's pretty easy to do when the goal of your opponent is to kill your things. And then you got to think about this. Once you have Nantuko Husk on board, all they're thinking about is, I got to kill this Nantuko Husk before it destroys my life. Well, they're probably going to have to kill Wayward Disciple first, and then deal with Nantuko Husk. And that's a tall order to have that much removal at the ready. A board wipe, you know, if you've got 8 guys on the board and they're at 7 life, they don't get to cast that board wipe with Wayward Disciple on board. This is a slow version of Zulaport Cutthroat. This is not as good as Zulaport Cutthroat, but once it's flipped, boy are they in trouble. Control cannot beat this card when flipped. This is going to be insane. Green, black, Grixis, anything where you want to sacrifice stuff, it's going to be insane. Promise. Number 1, Deadweight. Deadweight. 1 mana, -2/-2. How is this a thing? Well, Delirium is a small thing. You got to get 4 different card types in your graveyard. This is an easy way to kill something, put an enchantment in your graveyard. This is an easy way to interact with very fast red aggro decks, get some of their stuff off the board. Deadweight, it's going to be a surprise. I guarantee you Deadweight's going to be a thing, and it's going to be seen a lot if you're going to be, you know, black-white mid-range, black-white control, you're trying to play your new Avacyn, you want to play your Sorin. Even vampires, they're going to be discarding a lot of cards. They're probably going to just want to be able to play some cheap removal early on, get in for a bunch of damage. Deadweight, it goes in all kinds of black decks. It's going to be amazing. It is super efficient, and it's going to keep being super efficient. Moving on to Mythics and Rares and Shadows over Innistrad. Deathcap Cultivator. This is going to be our first 2 mana ramp spell. The Delirium means that sometimes it has Death Touch, but a 2/1 mana dork means you can play Thought-Knot Seer maybe on turn 3. You can play the Gitrog monster on turn 4. You get to get a little bit ahead of the curve in a bunch of different situations as long as you're green. You don't even have to be black. You can be, Kalitas on turn 3. If this fixes a black mana, like Kalitas on turn 3, double kill spell on turn 4 is not that insane of a thing. I mean, being able to accelerate like this, even if you only get 2 copies, is going to be huge. They did not put Hedron Crawler into the game, which would have given everybody a ton of 2 mana accelerant. This one's rare, but when you have Deathcap Cultivator in your hand is reality come manifest. It's going to be a beating, and you're going to be way ahead, a turn ahead, all the time. Number 4, always watching. Bummer about this card is it is not just a Gideon replacement. Non-token creatures you control get 1/1 and have vigilance. Not being able to pump tokens with this is a huge bummer, but there are plenty of mid-range and tempo decks that have a bunch of non-token creatures, and giving them vigilance and +1/+1 is a huge, huge game. It is worth putting white in your Simic tempo decks, the ones that I love so much, just to have cards like Always Watching and Reflector Mage just crushing your opponents, making your fast guys big. They have no board, and your guys are just unnecessarily undercosted and overpowered. This thing, it acts like 2 additional Gideons sometimes in everything except for token strategies. It's going to be a good card. It's going to be really annoying, and the fact that it's an enchantment means it's going to be very difficult for your opponents to interact with it. They're going to have their Reclamation Sages. It's going to be a beating. Always watching. We'll be watching you. Number 3, Westvale Abbey. This land lets you cast Thought-Knot Seer. It creates the colorless Wingding mana symbol, and it makes tokens late in the game when you're grinding it out. And if you just so happen to need a 9/7 flying, haste, lifelink, indestructible, Ormondal Profane Prince does it. You have to exile this thing. They removed an exile removal spell from this update. Angelic Edict no longer. There are not that many ways to just exile Ulamog and Ormondal. Bouncing Ormondal is a pretty bad beating. You're going to have to be careful against blue, but boy, is this thing just a hasting 9 life indestructible. Wow. What is this card? Not mythic. 2 copies of Westvale Abbey. Good night. Good night now. How do you deal with Ormondal? Number 2, Declaration in Stone. That's how. Sorcery speed, so you probably took 9 damage lifelink in the air already, but you exile target creature and all other creatures its controller controls with the same name as that creature. That player investigates for each non-token creature exiled this way. What that means is they get a clue token where they can pay 2 life to draw a card, but that's a pretty small price to pay for killing Ulamog and Ormondal. Declaration in Stone is super efficient, even at sorcery, and if you're going against a guy who's made about 20 Thopters, you get to kill all of them for 2 mana. Pretty insane. Declaration in Stone. This card is going to see play in multiple paper formats, and it sure is going to see some play here in probably every single white deck. Probably every single white deck ever made will play Declaration in Stone. Mono white aggro, white control, 5 color. If 5 mana Angelic Edict saw play, Declaration in Stone sure as shit is going to see tons of play, dealing with the hardest to kill threats in the format. But what's better than that? Well, probably the best card in the game. Our new queen, Archangel Avacyn. I don't even know what to say about this card. This thing is the best. This is the best card in Magic Duels, in my opinion. Even though you only get one copy, when you cast Archangel Avacyn, 90% of the time, you will instantly win the game. Because she will flash in, surprise! You'll make all kinds of blocks. She gives all your guys indestructible, so it doesn't matter how small your guys are and how big your opponent's guys are, they better be indestructible, because they're all going to die. You're probably going to get a 3-for-1 out of these, a 4-for-1, no wait, probably a 4-for-0 because Avacyn's not going to die. And then after that, for no reason whatsoever, if one of your other creatures dies, even if you sacrifice it, even if it's just a Scion you sacrificed, she flips, becomes even bigger, a 6/5, and she burns the whole damn board for 3 damage. Can aggro even beat this? Is that even possible? Is that even possible? You flash in, you block, indestructible, successful block. One of your things dies, they burn one of your small things, they fiery temper one of your things, she flips over and wipes their board, becomes bigger. How is this not better than Ulamog? You decide. This is the card. And that was 5 different top 5 lists. Eldritch Moon, I will be back doing 3 lists. Hopefully they won't delay it all the way into the fall, so I have to do 5 again. But this is my opinion, one man's opinion on the most impactful cards in this April 6th update. And I hope to crush you badly with all of these. See you later.